So it's showtime. It's literally what I said when I clicked the button. So welcome, Jody, and welcome to everybody who's here for this live. It's one of a series in the Next Level You live series of LinkedIn Lives. I've said, how many times have I said live so far today? I'm not really sure. But welcome, Jody. So why don't you introduce yourself? Who is Jody Parsons? Oh, we've got a glitch in the system there. Well,
yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me?
You're back. There we go. Hey, it's live. I said live about 10 times and then it was obviously live. So the only question I asked you though, Jody, was who is Jody Parsons?
I am a qualified bookkeeper, but I help scaling businesses to really get a grip on their finances. So I'm more of a virtual FD, and I just look after the whole picture of a business, and fill in any gaps, and just look after the business owners that are scaling really quickly, and look after all the financial stuff. Take care of HMRC bits, all those brown envelopes that come through your door. I just swoop them all up and sort out the whole picture, really. As you know, because we work together, don't we? So
yeah, I do know. That's fantastic. And we're going to get into this like straight away. We're going to go deep quickly today because there's a reason why we talked about this having the headline that it does, which is finding your purpose after adversity, because you didn't always do this, did you, Jody? And what was the catalyst?
So I worked my way up from a bookkeeper to an FD role in industry, and like for bigger companies, and I got made redundant during lockdown whilst I was pregnant. And at that point, I was like, do you know what? I'm done with trying to, work. And that wasn't just my first sort of hard part during my career. I've always had people that have tried to stop me in my tracks from getting to the point where I wanted to be, like either not going for promotions or, all these different things. I always felt that people were just trying to hold me back. So I was like, I'm done with that. I'm now just going to do it on my own. So I'm in charge and I can build a business and a company because I'm more than capable to do that, but then also help other businesses with their finances because it comes really easy to me, but I know it's not easy for other people. So be able to help other entrepreneurs to just be able to do their thing as well without the overwhelm of their finances. But yeah, that was the moment where I was like, I'm done with making profit for other people, and I need to just do it for myself now and for my family.
I can imagine. I mean, that was a brilliant answer. And then I'm sure, like anybody that's watching us, their mouths went made redundant whilst pregnant in lockdown. I mean, for most of us, just like being in lockdown was tough. Like being pregnant and being made redundant at the same time. I mean, like what?
And I had a toddler. And I had a toddler.
And you had a toddler as well. Wow.
Yeah. So even trying to schedule in maternity appointments and etc. It would have been okay if it was my first pregnancy. I think I would have been lonely, but I would have been able to meet people in a park at distance and have a conversation with them. But because I had a toddler, and obviously I got very heavily pregnant towards the end, I wasn't able to do that. I was very isolated for a very long time because of all the COVID restrictions and things like that. So I was literally in my house for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was tough.
So I don't want to dig too much into this, but because we're gonna go from this moment and we're gonna go forward. But like, what went through your mind in those first like days and weeks? Because like when you gave that answer in the beginning, it was full of the confidence that I know you for. It was full of everything that you now know. But what was it like then?
I think as soon as that moment happened and I knew that I didn't have a job anymore, my husband went back to full-time. He was part-time to look after our toddler, and I was the one that was working full-time. And at that moment, I just made a plan. I was like, I'm going to have 1.5 to 2 years off. I'm going to wait until my daughter, like the baby that I was pregnant with, was going to be nearly 1. And then I was then going to set up my own business. And I just had a plan. And so I just took a year and a half to 2 years off to just be with my children. And I wouldn't have had that. Like I went back to work after 5 months with my son, and had a very short maternity time with him. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. Like I'm just going to use this time to spend with my children. But I had this plan that on this date I'm going to set up my own business. And we're now 2 years in, and it's amazing. Yeah.
Where do you think that resilience came from?
I think I've had a fairly tough upbringing, and like I moved out when I was really young, and like I've always been ambitious, and I've had to be resilient basically. And yeah, it's just you go through things in your life, and it can either really tear you down or it can build you up. And I chose to build up.
I think that's really interesting. I mean, obviously, like in the work that I do, like people do reveal quite a bit about themselves, obviously, because it's it's confidential and there's trust there and so on. And one of the things that I find really interesting is that so many successful people, they have not had easy lives. It's a myth. You look at what you see maybe on LinkedIn or you see on Instagram, you see whatever, and you see the curated side of it. But actually, it's those knocks that give us something, isn't it? Like, how do you think about that?
Yeah, I think like everything happens for a reason, and you don't know why at the time it's happening. But for me, I can, like, looking back on those things, I can see why it happened. And I'm only the person I am today because of the events that have happened throughout my life, if that makes sense. Is that answering your question?
Absolutely. I think that is such a healthy way to look at it, because there's a trap we all get stuck into in our minds, isn't it? Where we spend time like regretting or dwelling on things that have gone wrong or didn't go right or didn't go to plan or whatever. And we spend time dreaming or fearing something that's coming in the future. But the truth is, like, wherever we sit here today, there are going to be problems in the future. That's going to happen. So it sounds like you've developed a capacity for almost like anticipating that and going, well, okay, it's going to happen. When it happens, whatever it is, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, your resilience just builds with each sort of time. And if you can spend less time in that sort of victim mode and actually look at it practically, don't get me wrong, I'm an emotional person, but like you have your emotional moment about whatever's happened, and then you make a plan of what's going to happen. Like you're the one that's got in control of what happens next.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when you say you're an emotional person like that, like, how does that serve your business?
So I think with my clients, they understand that I'm a normal person, and I can get where they are and how tough it is. And I'm actually like, I picture myself as like a business partner that cares as much for your business as you do, but I don't have any shares. That's how much I'm invested in your business doing well. It's because I actually, like, every person that's in my sort of world, I do get on that sort of level with them, I suppose. And I'm not just an accountant that just does your taxes at the year end. And also, like, employing staff and things like that, I want to make sure that they're happy in their roles. And yeah, I just want to be like an ethical company that helps people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so, like, what were once you decided to form your business? Obviously, there was a bit of a lead in while you were, welcoming your daughter to the world and getting through lockdown and all the rest of it. What were the steps that you took in the beginning?
So I just started. So I researched what I needed to set up my business. That I had to get a license and all these sorts of things. And just like working out. I don't know if this really answers any question. Just sort of, I had 2 years to plan, so I just started to put in place research and put in place what I would need at that point. Yeah, does that make sense?
How did you know what it was that you wanted to do? Because obviously, like in your previous career, there's a fairly clear path, isn't there? You know, you get your qualifications and then yeah, no.
Right, you say that I made my own path because I just built. So I started in a business I just went. I think it's the same as what I take an approach to the people that I help now. Is that I like to get so deep and look at the bigger picture in every business I've been in, and I've helped every business I've worked in. So I just seem to have that knack to want to do more for anybody that's in my world. Like just like even like the mums at school, I want to help them like with their problems and stuff. But I can't help everybody in life. But like every business, like I used to work for a nursery, and they were struggling getting their fees in, so I ended up helping them do that. But I was actually employed as a nursery nurse, not as the finance person. So, but then I ended up helping them do that. So I suppose I was meant to follow a path in life, and I very much haven't followed that path. I've gone like this to get to the top.
And that's really interesting. And so how did you settle on like, this is what I want to do? Like my business is going to look like this. I'm going to serve those kinds of things. Because it sounds quite natural when you say it now, but you know, any of us that have been through that kind of journey where you go, okay, I've got this kind of structured career over here. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Like there's a middle ground, isn't there, where you're like, oh my goodness, I could do this, I could do that. Should I do this? Should I do that? Like, how did you clarify?
So I always fell back into finances. Whatever role I ended up trying to think in, that I always fell back into the finances. So finances come easy to me, but I just wanted to be a bookkeeper that helped everybody with their bookkeeping and year-end tax returns. And that's what I did for the first year. And then the second year, I just said, no, I can do more than this. Like I can help more people with more stuff, like we're around their finances. So but the main thing that is driver for me is that I'm in control. No one can take this away from me. If this business failed, that was down to what I did. But if this business takes off, then like it has, then it's mine. No one can strip that back. And that was the biggest driver for me, is that I'm in control of this and no one can stop me.
You know, something I've noticed that you say frequently, you say, I just, when you're describing something that isn't just, you know, what's behind that is a lot of effort, probably a lot of pressure and stress. And where do you find the self-belief? Have you found it easy to find the self-belief?
Oh no, I've had like moments where I've been at rock bottom again, but you just pull yourself back out. It's like a roller coaster. The roller coaster, you have these big dips and then you get up to the highs, but those dips start to get less of a dip. And that's where you build your resilience, is that you will always have these dips, but it just builds up and you just don't fall as far each time, like each time you go through this. And
like I sort of said, what's your purpose? But you come through in every single answer that you give, that you really want to help people. You really want to, do good. You want to be ethical. You know, you want to work for yourself. You want to have something that, you know, nobody can take away from you. And you've done all of that, which is amazing. Do you feel pride?
Yeah, like within 2 years, I've covered my career that I had. I feel complete. Like day to day, I probably don't feel as proud as I should. But if you actually step back, or somebody else tells me, I'm like, wow, that's like seen as my journey. Like I've got 2 young kids. Everyone's in a different situation, aren't they? But if you actually look at the bigger picture of things, and you can see how far you've come. Like day to day, you won't recognize that, but in a year, just think about what the person in a year's time is going to think of you.
That's so important, isn't it? Because you don't go from, pregnant, made redundant in lockdown to this in a day. You go step by step, bit by bit, piece by piece. How do you find like motivating yourself on a daily basis with this?
So I get to pick my kids up most days.
Mm-hmm.
If I had a full-time FD role in a bigger company, I wouldn't be able to put the washing out in the middle of the day. Like my lifestyle now compared to what it could have been.
Yeah.
I've got everything that the career could have given me. I've got a community online that I can I've got loads of community online that I can speak to. I don't necessarily miss that sort of office culture.
Mm-hmm. Like
this business gives me an awful lot more than what a career in working for somebody else could have.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking back to that little detail that you slipped in about, leaving home when you were young, really young. Did you say 16?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was quite sort of in and out of being with my parents throughout my life. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say to 16-year-old you now?
You can do this. I think I've always been the way I have. But like if I look around me now, I would say it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It will be worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It certainly seems that way. I mean, I get to see you in a professional capacity, and you are brilliant at what you do. Really, really fun. Not trying to make you emotional, but it's genuinely true. And I think you've got a bit of a funny thing with compliments, maybe. You're not sure how to handle them. Is that true?
Throughout my whole career, no one's told me you're like, that's good. Like, because they didn't want to, I just feel that they didn't want to allow me to grow. I felt like, I think that's like, I've always been stopped in my tracks.
Yeah, you said that exact phrase a little bit earlier on as well. And that's so sad, isn't it? Because, I mean, like, let's just acknowledge where you are right now. This is great. And, it's actually, this is coincidence, but it's International Women's Day, isn't it? And the way that you're talking is just like, wow, this is, let's celebrate this. This is fantastic. But it was hard to get here. And I think, I feel sad for you in like previous iterations that nobody's saying to you, Jody, you're so capable, like you're so brilliant. You can do whatever you want, when you were actually proving that you could do it all along.
I don't know why. I don't know why people. I don't know if it's down to being a woman or what it was that, obviously we know that there isn't equality out there for all women. Not sure. Like, I think I've probably held myself back for too long because I didn't get you're doing a really good job, keep going. Imagine what I could have, like, even though I'm in an amazing place now, imagine if women are supported in a workplace around their children and able to use their skills and knowledge to do good. Yeah.
It's 2024. It's
that
ridiculous.
Should be happening, shouldn't it?
It really should. Obviously, I happen to be a white middle-aged man from the UK, so I've got all the privilege signs. I've had some trials in my life also, but in that regard, I just think it's so absurd that we make it hard for 50% of the population, but let's just concentrate on the workplace. 50% of the people in the workplace to bring them the whole of themselves into what they do, because the way that we work these days, it's all hybrid, it's online, you can do it at different times, and there's no reason to have that mindset from the past. It's totally outdated, totally inefficient. So I mean, I personally just fully support everything that you've just said, and I just want to say that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I know, and I think that's why I get a little bit emotional, like when you say, like, thank you for doing this, or, you know, what I'm doing for you, it is really good, because you are a middle-aged man that, you know, in the past,
yeah,
I haven't had that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah. It's sad that that isn't, and yeah, that's part of my mission, is to be able to create jobs for people that do want to be flexible at home. You know, do work around school hours, and then maybe a few hours in the evening if that's what they need to do around their family.
yeah.
Yeah, that's part of my mission. All my missions is to fill that gap that you aren't taught at school, about business finances, because I think that's really terrible, and I can see how businesses fail because people haven't got that knowledge, and then also to create jobs for people that need them.
That is a fabulous mission. It's absolutely wonderful.
In a simple way. Yeah, that's my whys.
It's absolutely amazing to hear, and I personally just find you an inspiration. I think you are fantastic, and you're so humble with it as well. So I'm sorry, you're gonna have to watch out, because I am going to keep saying nice things about you. Like,
I want to get used to it.
yeah, because I want you to get used to it, because it shouldn't be unusual, should it? And it shouldn't be that you know, you get to a certain period in your life and then it starts to happen. We should be. I don't understand why we can't say nice things about people all of the time. You know, just this platform that we're on right now at the moment, there's like 1 billion people on here. Okay, there's plenty of room for everybody, and it's abundant. We can support one another. We can. I was just talking earlier on today in person to another coach who is, you know, similar niche, similar to me, works in the same building, and I just said, look, you know, she seemed really nice. I was like, all right, come on, let's do a live. Let's, you know, I'll try and celebrate what you're doing, and we can see if we can lift that up a little bit. And I get the sense that might be unusual, but I'm like, oh, for goodness sake, like, we're all just people.
I think there's a bit of a tacky, cheesy saying, but it's collaboration over competition. And I feel that a lot of the entrepreneurial world that we're in, you can find your people in communities that will give you that drive and that support that you need to just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely true. And I've found, so like, for my path is obviously different to yours, but similar in some regards as well. You know, worked in a corporate career most of my life, and then age 50 quit to become an entrepreneur and do whatever it is I do for a living now. You know, you can't find it in a Richard Scarry book, that's for sure. You know, it's not like fireman or policeman or whatever. But I absolutely love it, and I love the story that you've told about how you went. You know, you get to a point in your life and you go, oh, okay, this isn't the path anymore. It's not right. I don't need to continue down that road, but I know how hard it is. You know, when we tell it in reverse, it's like, oh, we can join the dots and we could go, so I made this decision then, and then boom, 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 this happened. But day to day, it's get up, fight your demons, go again, get up, fight your demons, or maybe have a good day, you know, fight your demons the next day, and go on and on and on. So I think you're remarkable for doing it.
Thank you.
So you'll get used to it. Really, I think it's really important that we kind of close these things out on time, because people are busy and they've got stuff that they need to go and do. But I've got kind of like one more question for you, really, which is like the title of these things is, you know, the Next Level You. It's the title of my program, Next Level Live. So what's the next level for you, Jody?
Just to keep going and building this business that I've got and helping more people. I've got some personal goals that I want to hit by the time I'm 40. I'm 34 this year, so I've got like 6 years. And like I've got some personal stuff, but I just want to create a business that, as I said earlier, just creates these jobs, and but being happy day to day is my main focus. Like, that's my next level, is obviously just being living the life that I want,
Mm-hmm.
helping as many people as possible, and yeah, along the way helping myself.
Mm-hmm. And you're already doing that amazingly. But I also, personally, I just would encourage you to keep thinking about what you just said there. You know, how do I live day to day being happy? Because there's a thing in the work that I do. It's quite common that you find people are saying, I will be happy on the other side of like this achievement or a relationship or a holiday or a new job or whatever. Now, if we're in a situation that's not right for us, we need to put some effort in and change it, and that takes time. However, you can only ever be happy in this moment.
Life's for living, isn't it? Like you've got to enjoy what you've got day to day.
Yeah.
But then strive to level, like keep leveling up, and it sounds that's a bit cheesy again, but like the next level of what you want. If you want it, if you're not happy now, then you need to change. If you're not, then you need to change your path in life and decide what you want to do. And working with coaches and stuff has got me to where I am now. Like, you can't do it on your own. You need support.
Yeah, which that's a beautiful.
It just takes longer. You could do it on your own, but it'll take longer.
Yeah. I think that's a fantastic place to land it. So I just want to say, like, thank you so much, Jody, for doing this and for being a little bit vulnerable as well, because like I know it's not necessarily easy for any of us to do, and we don't even know who's watching when we do these things, do we? But I am sure, and there's a few things in the chat here as well that I've seen as well, that you sharing that story is going to lift up other people. It's going to inspire other people, and that's the whole reason why we've done this today. So thank you so much.
Thank you for giving the opportunity to tell a bit of my story.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. And I know that you're just going to hit the next level and the next level and the next level. And I just look forward to being a tiny little part of it. So there we go.
Working with you. Yeah, thank you very much.
So there's some things you've seen in the ticker. Everybody that's been watching, thank you so much for coming along. And if you want to get hold of Jody, you can find her on LinkedIn, which hopefully you've seen already, because that's how you found us. That you can get the link from the bottom of the booking page or the reservation page for this live today. If you didn't catch it all, it'll come up live again. Sorry, it won't be live. It'll be recorded. It'll pop up on LinkedIn almost as soon as it finished as well. Jody, I'm sure you would love to hear from anybody about anything that has inspired them here today. Same for me. If you've got any questions, send me a direct message or send me an email or anything like that. And shameless plug at the end, I only take 2 people each month onto my Next Level You program. One has gone. So if you want to join in March, you better get in touch fairly soon. So thanks again, Jody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.